Hey, what's up and welcome. I'm the one and only West Coast King, and welcome back to the Chicago Fire career, episode number 12. And this is the big one, the MLS Cup final between Chicago and Sporting Kansas City. And before we get into this thing, I just want to repeat that I don't know how we've actually gotten here in season 1 with Chicago. I'm stunned that we won a supporter shield. I'm even more stunned that we put together the run that we have through the Eastern Conference playoffs to reach the final. If you remember all the way back at the beginning of this season, when we started this career, I was very reserved with our expectations going into season 1. I thought maybe 4th, 5th place finish in the East, and then just see what happens in the playoffs. I knew our defense was going to be a problem, and it has been. As a matter of fact, we're the worst defensive team in the Eastern Conference to make the playoffs, and only 2 teams in the West conceded more goals than us and still made the playoffs. It has not been good. All year, we've lacked consistency and ability to defend, but with as many close games as we had throughout the year, games decided by 1 goal, we just happened to have enough players step up in that perfect time to find a late game winner and pull 3 points out of a game where we only deserved 1. And that's the difference between finishing first place and probably 4th or 5th, which is probably where this team deserved to finish. I in no way think that we're the best team in the league. There's no possible way. But we just did enough to pull out victories instead of draws, and that's how champions are made. And here is the starting 11 we will be going with for this final. You know it. You've seen it before. It's the same team we've used almost the entirety of this playoffs. No need to change anything up now. We're confident going into this thing. Spirits are high. We're ready to go. So without any further ado, it is time for the MLS Cup final between Chicago Fire and Sporting Kansas City. Right, set for kickoff here on a very cold afternoon in Chicago. But it is MLS Cup final time, boys. Let's do this. Sporting with the first possible opportunity from this corner, and Frankowski not having any of that, and he just clears it away. Good defense, boys. We'll stay in there. It's these second opportunities that sometimes gets us in trouble. Ousted. Johnny Russell with a good shot. Johnny Russell's been on fire in these playoffs as well. We have got to keep a closer eye on him. All right, so another corner for Sporting. Again, they try the near post. Russell actually gets up and wins that. Ousted again with a save. Can somebody please close down that space right there? That's twice, boys. Wake up out there. Third corner for Sporting. They're going to go short. Miranda gets around. And the ball. Okay. Johnny Russell, I just talked about him. He scores. 3 straight corners for Sporting, and again, David Ousted just does not move. The ball is literally, he actually ducks out of the way! You can't be that bad. He stands there and hits him in the face and he saves it. He ducked out of the way! Oh, that is not the start that we wanted here. Absolutely not at all. And we haven't even had an offensive possession yet, and it's already Sporting up 1-0. Oh, Johnny Russell. Ball in the box. Kreuzer! Boys, as good as we've been in the playoffs, this has been a disastrous first 20 or so minutes. Kreuzer, you can't just lay the ball off for Gutierrez in the box. That's not a proper clearance. Come on. Schweini. Ooh, dribbles out of trouble. Only as far as Espinoza, though. Does well. And then Mihailovic comes up with it. Come on, boys. A counterattack. We're on this thing. Get it out wide. Frankowski's in space. Come on, we have to make this count. I don't know how many of these chances we're going to get. Frankowski. Oh, he gets away. Keeps it in. Dinks it up. There it is. Back stick. The finish just wasn't very good. Gaitan didn't get enough on it. Oh, Edwards, do not get behind Russell, man. We can't let him get through. Oh, Sporting are absolutely... They're just dissecting us. Roger Espinosa with a freaking laser beam. I don't know if I can blame Ousted too much for that one. They're just slicing us apart. It's 2-0, 25 minutes in, and we are just not playing very well. Nikolic still on it. Very nicely done. In there for Schweinsteiger. Schweinsteiger, good save by Melia. That was better. That was actually at least a good-looking shot. Yes, get the pass off to Kreuzer. We're away. Come on, boys. I see Katai making a run. That is a little bit... What a clearance by... That was going to go out for a goal kick for sure. What a clearance by Graham Zusi. Playing it in. Beautiful. Schweinsteiger. No. We're doing well keeping possession here. There we go. Gaitan gets an open look. And he misses the finish. That's some good play, though. Frankowski, get a ball across. Yes, Katai. Easy tap in. Can't blow that one. 2-1. We're back in. We're back in. It's almost halftime. But there was the spark that we needed. We got Frankowski on the wing. Katai made a fantastic run to open himself up. Come on, boys. Oh, God. There's another ball through Johnny Russell. Kreuzer giving chase. Not good enough. Absolutely not good enough. Still not good enough. Ooh, Gutierrez. Straight from kickoff after our goal, and you can see we still can't play defense. We cannot stop this Sporting team. We're going to have to flat out outscore them, and starting from 2-0 down, that's not going to be easy. Start of the second half now. I did mention that these two teams have both scored 9 goals so far in the playoffs, right? Not including this game. We knew there'd be goals today. We knew that for sure, but holy crap, wasn't expecting quite this level of intensity from Sporting. That is a great ball by Gaitan. Out wide for Katai. I was kind of trying to go for Nikolic there. Zusi gives up the pen. I am not sure about that call. Katai fully turned back into him as Zusi was on the ground. But the ref gives it, and we shall take it. So Bastian Schweinsteiger steps up to take this pen. We're going to look it off to the right. We're going to look off to left. Go right. Jeez, that was right by Melia. That was not a good pen. But it's good enough. It is 2-2 to start the second half. Boys, we go again. We're starting over. It's 0-0. Let's go. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. There will be goals here today. And now, for the first time in this game, Sporting, look at this, a little bit sloppy. They look a little bit shook as Frankowski picks that up. Gives it in for Gaitan. We've got numbers going forward here. We've got Nikolic. He's not going to get a shot off, though. That clearance goes off of a Sporting player. Melia punches. What is going on? Sporting are all out of sorts at the back. Sporting have moved the ball so well. Easily the best passing team that we've played in these playoffs. It is not even close. They've been so good moving the ball and just moving off the ball and finding open passes. Come on, boys. Oh, that's a good play in. All it takes is a shot on target, and Ousted's not going to save it. 83rd minute. It's Gerso, and Sporting retake the lead. We have outplayed them in this second half. That's the first chance they've gotten in the second half, and we just can't keep them out. Ball in here, Schweinsteiger. Let's just keep the ball for a second. Keep some possession here. Oh my God, that was such a bad pass. All right, we got to go. That's a great ball for Gaitan. Gaitan keeps it and gets it back to Christian Martinez. This could be it. This could be the final play of the game here. Oh my God, did we just give the ball away? We did. And the ref blows the whistle. As soon as the Sporting player touched the ball, he blew the whistle. Should have just crossed it with Christian Martinez. Should have just crossed it and hoped for the best. Oh, that hurts. To fight back from 2-0 down. To give up a goal with less than 10 minutes left. And lose MLS Cup. I can't say too much about it. I think Sporting were the better team throughout. That sucks, man. Damn it, that sucks. So there you have it. We fall just short, in heartbreaking fashion, of picking up that MLS Cup. And what really sucks about this is that we didn't win US Open Cup. we didn't win MLS Cup. We won the Supporter Shield, but that's not actually recognized in FIFA as an actual trophy. So according to FIFA, we won absolutely nothing this season. We have no trophies to show for it. That is really, really unfortunate. So now we can do a little bit of a squad report here, go through our team, and maybe talk about which players are going to be on their way out as we look to improve the squad a little bit in this upcoming transfer window and in the MLS draft, which will happen next episode. And we start off with David Ousted. I don't think that there is a strong enough word in the English language to describe how badly I want Ousted off this team. I mean, he has actually reached rarefied air here. Only Joe Bendik has been as bad as Ousted is. And Ousted might have been a bit worse. Honestly, he might be the worst goalkeeper I've ever had in any series ever. And he picked the worst possible time to have a David Ousted game in the MLS Cup final, but he went full Ousted and blew it out his ass. And I don't want to lay the entire game at his feet because we did not defend well as a team, but his goalkeeping was shambolic the entire season and specifically in that MLS Cup final. He was horrific, and if you're wondering if he's going to be sticking around yet or not, just unsubscribe because there's no freaking way. He's gone. He's out. He's already out the door. He's packing his bags, and I'm kicking his ass out the door as we speak. So that will leave Stefan Cleveland as our only goalkeeper, but we will be going and getting a goalkeeper in the MLS draft, which will happen next episode. So Cleveland will either be in the mix early on, because I don't know how good the goalkeeper we're going to get is going to be ratings-wise, but Cleveland will be here next season regardless. Kreuzer was good, gets out of position at times, but there's no way we're replacing him. He's definitely a solid player on this team. He's more of an attack-minded fullback anyway, so positioning is always going to be a little bit of an issue defensively for him. Reynolds played well. Early in the season, he actually came in as a starter, but he's more of a backup, and he has good potential. We'll keep him around on this team. Campos, I'm not sure because he didn't play often. He might end up be looking for a move out. I'm not sure if we're going to be keeping him or not. Lillard was fantastic. When Kappelhoff went down going into the playoffs, Grant Lillard stepped up and was heroic in the playoffs. Not a great MLS Cup final from him, but it wasn't for pretty much any of our defenders. But he's definitely going to be here next season. Austin Trusty. I set a high bar for Austin Trusty for this season. I had huge expectations for him when we picked him up from Philadelphia mid-season. He exceeded those expectations. He was phenomenal for this team, and there's no way we're getting rid of him. Kappelhoff is going to be back, and he can have a spot on this team if he's happy kind of rotating with Lillard. Lillard's definitely earned at least a shot at more playing time next season. Maybe not the outright starter, but at least in the mix and maybe a rotation situation between Kappelhoff and Lillard. Guyahar probably won't, well, he might be here. I don't really have a reason to sell him, but he's not very good. He can be a backup, I guess. Corrales already signed a pre-contract. He's gone after the season. Schweini will be back. He is declining. It's his physicals that are really taking a hit here. His stamina is horrendous. He can barely make it through 90 minutes. But the technical ability is still there, and we're not getting rid of him. He's our captain. So until he retires, which will probably be at the end of next season, I would assume, he's going to stay with us. Mo Adams had a big second half of the season. He's definitely coming back. Frankowski had maybe an MVP caliber second half of the year. Finished tied for the lead in goal scoring in the league with Nikolic. So he had a big year for us. He progressed faster than what I expected and turned into a superstar in season 1. Christian Martinez will be back, definitely as a backup on this team. Hasler will be back. I like his versatility. He even caught some time in midfield towards the end of the year there, so I like what he can bring. Bronico will definitely be back next season as well. He had a pretty good second half as well. Katai will be back next season, maybe in a different position. He may not be playing out wide for much longer. Doesn't have the speed. He really doesn't have any speed at all. What is it? 64 sprint speed. I think we can do a little bit better there, but he's definitely going to be back nonetheless. Banku, I think I might sell him. He's just a little bit too good to be a backup. I don't have a starting spot for him. Hey, I got him as a free agent. I almost feel bad keeping him on the bench, so I might get rid of him and look to bring in a different backup left back. Maybe we go with Guyahar. Maybe that's what we do, but I don't know. I don't think I'm going to have Banku back. Mihailovic definitely coming back. Had a nice season as a youngster. 20 years old, still progressing. Nicolas Gaitan. Of our 3 designated players, Nikolic, Gaitan, and Schweini, I had a momentary brain fart, and Schweinsteiger, I think it's Guy 10 that we're going to be getting rid of at the start of next season. He was great at the beginning of the year. Carried the team for about a month and a half. And then disappeared. Absolutely nowhere to be seen in the second half of the year or in the playoffs. There's no reason to keep him around. I think we can do better in the midfield. And I think we can get a more impact designated player into the team in general. So I don't think Guy 10 is going to be back with us next season. Plus, he's 30 years old. And as you can see, he's starting to decline in his physical stats. He's down 6 in his agility already. That's not a good sign for him. Technicals are still there, but he just didn't do it for me. Not as a designated player. He just was not good enough, and I think we can do better. Elliot Collier didn't get any playing time. Not a single appearance, but he's growing a little bit. And I might keep him around as a youngster to develop a little bit more. Fabian Herbers, woo, is he gone? He is right there on Ousted's coattails, just riding his ass right out the door because he ain't coming back next year. Nikolic, I think, is going to be our striker next season. Didn't have a great second half of the year, much like Guy 10, but he was still involved in the play. He led the team in assists this season, I think, and he was still a very, very big part of what we were doing, and he was good enough, I think. Plus, he was one of the top leading scorers in the league this year. He's good enough that we should bring him back for at least one more year as our striker. Sapong may or may not be back. Depends on if he's okay as a backup still. He's kind of unhappy, so I'm not sure about him. That one's more up to him than to me. I was fine with him. Moreno will be back next season as a backup. He might see a little bit more playing time as he's starting to develop a little bit. And then Raheem Edwards is our left back going into next season, and I think he's going to be the left back on this team. I've seen enough out of him. I trust him there. Again, gets out of position a little bit, just like Kreuzer on the other side, but he's an attacker, so it's going to happen. And here are the statistics for our players from this season. Frankowski and Nikolic both ended with 20 goals apiece in all competitions, and both of them scored 19 of those 20 goals in MLS play. Nikolic added 1 in the US Open Cup. Frankowski added 1 in the preseason tournament. Frankowski also had 9 assists. Nikolic did lead the team in assists with 11. So again, very involved in what we do is Nemanja Nikolic, and he just fits this team very, very well. Katai had 13 goals and 10 assists. Pretty big season from him. I mean, he had 4 goals in the preseason tournament, kind of dominated that competition. But overall, I really, really did enjoy him, and I really didn't think I would. So I was kind of surprised by how good he was. Guy 10 also had 13 goals and 10 assists, but he also played 8 games more than Katai. Just not as effective as I think we could have as a designated player. Mihailovic had a good year, 6 goals and 10 assists. Schweini added 4 goals and 5 assists as well. He did play half the season as a center back though, so keep that in mind with those stats. Christian Martinez had 4 goals and 3 assists, 3 of those goals coming in US Open Cup play. He was heroic in that competition for us, especially in that game against Atlanta. That was probably his shining game this season. He was fantastic in that one. Austin Trusty added 3 goals for us coming in mid-season. He is a weapon on offense and defense. I absolutely love him. Sapong added 3 goals and an assist as well. Mo Adams had 2 goals and 2 assists. He had some late game heroics. He had 1 late game assist and 1 late game goal in back-to-back games that pulled out 6 points when we probably should have only had 1 or 2. That's how we win. That's what I was talking about at the beginning of this episode. That's how you win championships. And Mo Adams was instrumental in a couple of those. Bronico had a good season, 1 goal, 2 assists, mostly as a substitute. Bonku, 1 goal, 1 assist. Herbers had 1 goal somehow in the MLS Cup playoffs. Raheem Edwards added 1 goal with 3 assists. His 1 goal was a screamer early in the year from outside the box as well. A very nice goal. And that is it. That's all the goals and all of the assists. So that is where we're going to end it for this episode and for Season 1. Not the result we were hoping for today, but it happens. The Magic just kind of ran out on us in the playoffs, and Sporting honestly just outplayed us in that final. They wanted it more. They were better. They played harder. They just got the result, and we didn't. So kudos to them. Congratulations. But we have something to build off of, and we'll be ready come next season. Next episode, we'll start off with the MLS draft, and then we get into the transfer window, where we might see a shakeup coming. So we'll have to see how that goes and what happens there. But that's it for this one. If you did enjoy it and you're looking forward to season number 2, make sure to let me know by leaving a like below. Subscribe if you're new. See when we come back for some more Chicago Fire career. See ya.